Why does it sometimes seem so difficult for others to return the love and support you so freely give? Well, it's due to some internal obstacles they're overcoming, not because they don't care. To begin with, there are people who have trouble liking themselves. They regard you as this incredible light source, equivalent to the North Star in the dark night. However, with regards to themselves, they don't feel worthy of being at your side. They feel more like shadows. They find it difficult to recognize what they can provide in return because of this self-doubt. It feels like they are entering a room that is already bright with sunshine with a little candle. This lack of self-love and dissatisfaction with life tend to go hand in hand. They may feel as though they have no true joy or purpose and are just going through the motions. They could thus be unsure of how to react when you reach out to them with kindness or assistance. Not because they're unappreciative. Rather, it's that they find it difficult to recognize their own value, let alone equal your generosity. They may feel as though they are lacking the emotional energy to connect fully, especially with someone who is hungry for that depth like you. It is therefore not that they don't want to connect. Rather, it's because they feel insufficient that they may withdraw or appear aloof. They must go on a path of self-acceptance and self-discovery for the purpose to close this gap. In order to establish a relationship based on mutual love and support, it is essential to comprehend their challenges and assist them in addressing them. Now, let's explore the reasons behind some people's difficulty showing love and support to you as a chosen one, and how we may work together to assist them get beyond those obstacles. First of all, their own values are being undermined as a result of their deep-seated self-betrayal, which is why they may find it difficult to remain faithful and strong to you, the chosen one. Authenticity is sometimes lost in the struggle when people are unable to remain true to who they are and what they believe in. Consider them to be a sailor following the stars, only to discover that their moral compass is out of alignment. Their credibility and self-worth are undermined when they compromise their morals in order to comply with social expectations or to blend in. For instance, people may rationalize minor lies that develop into a dishonest habit if they sacrifice their morals in order to advance professionally or socially. Their relationships may suffer significantly as a result of this lack of authenticity. How can they be honest to you if they can't even be true to themselves? It's possible that their promises will become untrustworthy due to an internal struggle rather than malice. They must set out on a path of self-reconciliation in order to heal this divide brought about by their own betrayal. This entails in-depth introspection to identify and restate their basic ideals. They will progressively be able to offer you honesty and loyalty again as they learn to live up to these principles. As the chosen one, it is your responsibility to provide them with the understanding and tolerance as well as to foster an atmosphere that makes them feel comfortable being who they truly are. The second reason they may find it difficult to be truthful with you is their dishonesty with themselves. Their relationships are necessarily affected by their self-deception, which distorts their reality and wants and casts a shadow of dishonesty over them. To preserve a facade they think is acceptable, they might downplay their flaws, exaggerate their accomplishments, or conceal their actual emotions. But these misperceptions impact more than just their thoughts. They also influence the way they communicate with you. For instance, they might hide from you if they regularly deny their problems in order to come off as strong, which would rob the connection of depth and genuineness. The foundation of trust that is necessary for partnerships to flourish is eaten away by this persistent dishonesty. How can they communicate these realities with you if they are unable to be honest with themselves about their problems, concerns, or failures? Interactions might feel more like acts than real connections, leading you to speculate about their underlying sentiments and ideas. Furthermore, the relationship's decision-making processes are impacted by this self-deception in addition to emotional interactions. To preserve the appearance of peace, they could consent to obligations they dislike or choose not to voice their disapproval. These unspoken facts accumulate over time and exert pressure that has the power to sever even the strongest of relationships. In order to overcome this self-deception, they must face their deepest realities and remove many layers of excuses and falsehoods to show who they truly are. Their dread of being vulnerable and the ensuing emotional barriers are the third reason they could find it difficult to reciprocate your intense emotional commitment. This dread of being vulnerable, with all of their imperfections, creates imperceptible barriers around their hearts, impeding the bond that you, as the chosen one, are trying to cultivate. Consider the armor they wear, which isn't made of steel but rather is fashioned from past hurts, setbacks, and the innate dread of being fully understood and potentially rejected. They are protected by this armor, but it also keeps them apart from the deep closeness of real emotional communication. For instance, people may withdraw behind an apathy when confronted with circumstances that call for emotional transparency, such as revealing inner anxieties or unfulfilled desires. Although they may appear indifferent to you, they are actually concealing a vulnerability that they fear would overwhelm them if it were made public. This unwillingness to show vulnerability might lead to serious emotional problems in the partnership. You can open yourself completely to them, letting them into your private life, yet all you get in return is evasive behavior or flimsy replies. This one-sided emotional labor wears you down over time, making you feel inadequate and alone even in their company. Their emotional impediments not only impede the development of special moments of intimacy, but also prevent the relationship from progressing to the depths of mutual understanding and trust that characterize the most satisfying connections. In order to overcome these obstacles, people have to face and admit their fear of being vulnerable. Their shields can be gradually lowered if you support them in their efforts to become more open by encouraging them to take baby steps in that direction. Their lack of emotional intelligence is the fourth reason they can find it difficult to comply with your spiritual existence. This indicates that individuals struggle to recognize and react to the feelings that underlie strong, compassionate bonds. Imagine it as trying to navigate through a dense fog when visibility is limited and everything is muted. In a similar vein, they navigate your conversations without frequently picking up on the tiny emotional indications that ought to direct their conduct. They may give you a cold congrats when you tell them about your accomplishments, since they can't hear the pride in your voice. Furthermore, if you communicate your concerns to them, they might not notice the sensitivity in your tone and assume you're just looking for advice when what you actually needed was some empathy. They must reflect on their own emotional intelligence and may need to pursue formal education through resources or counseling in order to close this emotional intelligence gap. They must acquire the abilities of active listening, empathy, and emotional management, as they are crucial for developing a strong and receptive bond with you. By tactfully pointing out misunderstandings and providing immediate explanations of your wants and feelings, you may support them on this journey. This fosters mutual understanding and aids in their learning in real time, making every incident of misinterpretation a step closer to intimacy. Gaining an understanding of these dynamics is essential to developing tolerance and empathy for them, as well as to encourage their progress while they overcome obstacles. It is not a show of weakness to encourage them to seek insight and potentially treatment. Rather, it is a courageous step towards emotional growth and relational fulfillment. You may turn these personal struggles into victories of knowledge and human connection by working together with compassion. Accept this call to action with the bravery to confront your hidden enemies, the dedication to grow personally and in your relationships, and the empathy to support those who journey in your footsteps.